Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this watermelon round Kumihimo braid, and this is what it looks like. So obviously we achieve the watermelon effect also by the use of colours, but also the actual pattern. So if you want to learn how to make that, then keep watching. And these are the things that you'll need. You'll need your round Kumihimo disc to make this braid, and then you'll obviously need your cord. Now, to make it look like a watermelon, I've chosen to use two kinds of green, so a darker one and a lighter one. This is almost kind of a neon green really. That's going to obviously be for the shell of the watermelon. And then I have a red one and a black one for the inside. So you can obviously choose the exact colours you want to use, but obviously keep it like this if you want it to look like a watermelon. So get these things together and then let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is cut off all your cords and get them ready. And I've already done that. So what you need is each length of cord. Normally the way I measure it, there's no specific measurement because obviously it depends on the materials, but also the size that you need to be. So normally the guideline is you wrap your cord around your wrist 3 times if you're making a bracelet. So roughly around 3 times the size that you want the final piece to be. That's how long your cords need to be. And then what you need is, you need your red cords, and for those you need 10 lengths of that. And then you need your black ones, and for those you need 2 lengths, these. And then you have your dark green ones. Of those you need 4 lengths of them, there. And then of the light green, or the neon green, you need 4 of them as well. So that's the amount of cord you need for each colour. And then you cut them all off, and then all you do is just gather them all together in one end and just tie a knot, just to keep them together so we can start working with them. This is just temporary. So that's what you do to get ready. And then now we need to set them up on our disc. So this is how you want to set up your disc. So you have all your 10 red cords spread out, 4 next to each other on opposite sides, and then a pair as well with a red and a black, one on each side as well. And then you have your light green opposite each other and your dark green opposite each other. So this is how you want to set up your disc. And then we'll need to start making the braid. Now the way that we make the braid is just as simple as a normal basic Kumihimo braid. The only difference is this has a few more cords than your basic one. So that's the only thing, spacing on the disc. There's a little less space in between your sets of cord. But as long as you just try and keep track of it and keep an eye on them so you don't get them mixed up, it's still doable. But the basic technique is the same thing. So the way I normally start is, you obviously have to work in opposite pairs like most of the braids, round braids. So I usually take my top left one of this pair and then go down, stay on the left side of that pair. Remember, you're working with opposite pairs, but this is what I mean, because now this is placed in the empty space in between, so you now have 5 cords right next to each other. And that's the part that can get a little bit confusing about which one to take next to where you are. But that's why I just try and keep in mind working them in pairs, and try and then ignore these 2 while you're working with these opposite pairs. So you're taking that one down, and then I take the right one from the bottom of the opposite pair and bring it up to the right. And as you can see here as well, you're filling in that space so you end up with 4 cords next to each other. So as you can see, you now have 4 right next to each other, across from each other. But just because there isn't a space, still try and think of them just working with them as pairs. So these 2 to the right side are the opposite of the ones on the left side on the top, and the same with these two are the opposite of these two. So even though there's no obvious space, just try and keep in mind that you're working with pairs. So we've done the first ones, and we now need to turn the disc a little bit to get ready for the next pair, which is the one that lies right next to the one you just done. So there, try and ignore the ones you just done. So you only got these two, the pairs. You want to grab the top left one and bring it down to the side, left side of this bottom pair. So basically in the space that you have free. And then because now you have 3 on the bottom, which is out of the pairs that you're working with, you want to take the one to the right of that pair. So again, ignore these two because those are the ones you used before. So grab that one, bring it up to the right side in that empty space, and then turn it again for the next pair. The one on the left side, which in my case now is black, and down, empty space next to this pair, opposite pair, and as you can see on the sides you have a little bit more space. And then the right one from the bottom pair, bring it up to the empty space on the right side, and again you got a bit more space in between here. So that's like the only really difficult thing about this braid, is the fact that you have more cords on the disc, so there's less space. So it's just keeping track of the right pairs to go with the right pairs and not get them mixed up. So those were the neon green. Now it's the dark green. Sticking with the other dark green on the opposite side. So basically, when you have these 5 cords right next to each other, it's the middle one you want to pick out to bring back up. And turn it. And then we're going to grab the left from the top, bring it down, stick on the left side of the bottom, and then bring that up into that empty space. And then grab the very next one and down into the empty space, and now you can see you have a lock cord here. Just keep in mind you're just working with these. So you grab this one. You basically, when you put in your cord from the top, let's try and show you. So you bring this down into that space, and then you move over 2 cords, and then you grab that one. That's if you do it the same way as me. And then the very next one, stay on the left side, move over 2, grab that, bring it up to the single cord, stay on the same side, and then turn it again. Like so. And this is just how you continue. You do this for as long as you need your braid to be. As you can see, moving 2 over, which happens to be the middle one out of all of them, but just move over 2 cords and bring that up. And then keep turning it to the very next pair each time. And like with any round braid, I'm doing it this way just because that's what comes natural to me. I usually go from the top left down to the left, bottom right to the top right. And I then normally turn it this way. That's just what comes natural to me. You don't have to do it that way, you can turn it the other way. You can start from the bottom up, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is you need to make sure you do the same thing throughout the whole braid. So as long as you do the same thing, it doesn't matter where you start or what direction you go. And then also a little tip, say you're in the middle of the braid and you need to stop for some reason, take a break or whatever. Obviously if you just kind of finish up a pair so it looks like this, and then you leave it to come back to it, it can be a little bit difficult to find out, okay, where do I start next, which pair did I get to. So what I do recommend doing is, instead of finishing a pair, that you basically just do, this is where it was originally, you just do the first half of the pair and then leave the other one, because then you can put it down, come back to it, and you know that if you start from the top like me, you know that you always start from the top, bring it down, and this is where you have the most cords, so you know this is the next one you need to take and bring up. That's a little bit easier when you have only like 8 threads on your disc, so when you're doing the basic, but it still works with this as well, even though you have more cords. Just try and maybe do it in a space where you have a little bit more space in between, so it's a little bit more obvious where you left your cord. Then you just keep going and it'll grow. On the back side of your disc. And normally what I do is I just use my hand, obviously hold the disc, but on the back I just use my fingers to kind of hold tension on the braid and pull it back. Some people put a weight on there, but I prefer to just hold it with my fingers. So you just keep going like this. So like now you can see I just did the first half of that pair. I went and did that, and maybe when I came back I could have got confused, but because I only did the first half, I know this is the next one I need to do and bring up. So that's how you do it, and you just keep going the same way until you reach the length that you need it to be. So I've kept doing the same thing for a while now, and what you'll notice is when you get into a rhythm as well, the braid will actually start growing quite quickly. So I've pretty much reached the length that I want it to be, and then on the other end, the other side, you're going to have this coming out. So this is basically your watermelon braid. So this is what it's going to look like. And then obviously, like I said, I pretty much reached the end now, so I'm going to take it off and finish off the braid. And I have a video on how to do that as well, so I'm going to link that in the description box. So that's how you do it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching.